Yesterday, during the 5-hour debate on the Ministry of National Security, I was honored with 15 minutes by Minister Weeks. Truly, that's not an acceptable way to do a budget. But anyway, I'll put that aside. I'm going to talk about some high points, in my view, that should be covered, which probably weren't covered adequately during yesterday's debate. First and foremost, we see in the ministry that through every department, from defense right through to the Bermuda Fire Rescue Service, the government is committed to hiring professionals. They've allowed the numbers to go down to very low levels. In the Bermuda Police Service, their mandated allocation is normally 420. They are now at 360. So the government is giving them permission to hire 20 more. But through all those services, it is estimated by me, from what the minister said, that there'll be 80 to 100 recruits taken on board. I put the marker down in the short time that I had. It wouldn't happen next year. They're all pulling from the same pool. We know the challenges within the ministry and the uniformed services on the numbers that can pass all the testing requirements and the drug testing requirements, and it just doesn't happen. So they're all pulling from the same pool. But this, interestingly enough, is from a government who, in the last 2 years prior to this budget, said that they were taking austerity measures. But now they've dropped those handcuffs and they're moving forward. Let's hope it happens, because they all need it drastically. A couple other major points that I want to talk about is gang violence reduction strategy. The One Bermuda Alliance fully supports it. However, if you have a budget, you must work that budget, never stray too far from that budget, and if you have to go over the budget, you need to fess up, bring supplementaries to the House, and deal with it in an appropriate way. In the last 3 years, they've shot 30% over in 21-22, 30% over in 22-23, and now for this financial year, they're increasing the budget by 50%. We need results. We need to know what the results have been in the past and who has been paid and what their services were. Staying with the police, I related gang strategy to road safety. There have been more people killed on our roads in the last 5 years than there have been murders. But this government doesn't take that seriously. There's nobody out there in the road policing unit. And why do I say that? Because you don't see them. You see them during Operation Vega, and then they pull up stakes, and for a month or 2 months, they're somewhere else. That's probably because they're out investigating all the road traffic fatalities or the serious injuries. We need to do better than this. If we care about road safety, the road traffic unit should be there every day of the year. This culture needs to change. It's unacceptable on our roads, and we can do better, and the police need the support of the government to do better. Now, while I'm on that, let me talk about drink driving for a minute. That legislation is flawed, and we alluded to that when it was passed. We support the basis that if you drink, you shouldn't drive and you should be caught. But to have the police advertise where they're going to be and what days they're going to be out is just ludicrous. Because does a drunk driver tell you when they're going to drive drunk so you can get out of their way? No. Now, I remember when the legislation was passed, there was very feeble and weak comments, in my view, that it was because of legal rights or constitutional rights. Well, nobody has a right to get behind the wheel when they're drunk or to get on their bike. We need to change it, because if you advertise you're going to be out there, that's defeating the purpose of trying to make our roads safer. And so if we want to take a real bite out of the carnage that's going on our roads, we need to do something to amend that legislation. And the last thing I want to talk about is airport fire safety. It is our view that the PLP government has botched the challenges down the airport. First, I don't think they've been open and transparent with the people of Bermuda when they first knew about the challenges that OTAR had put down at the airport. It was a Skyport audit that first identified it, but we really don't know when it was first identified and how long government had to fix the challenge. But what we do know is, in last year, they spent $3 million more in airport fire safety than was budgeted for. We put people in from overseas in those positions, which we needed. They were professionals, we didn't have them, but they had terms of references that were much better than most Bermudans can get. So if this PLP government cares about social welfare, they need to do better.